I'm back. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Stop pitching to Freddie Freeman. Just stop it. It's asinine. What is going on in the Bronx? We'll get to that later. Yeah, yes, what is it, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever day you're listening to this, Sunday from 3 to 4 was the craziest hour I think I've ever seen in pro football. We'll talk about that. We had the sports equinox, which I think only happened 21 or 31 times before. There's a lot of stuff going on in sports, and the most important thing, stop pitching to Freddie Freeman and Aaron Judge. Can you hit a baseball? I mean, the greatest player up until October 1st. And then you forget how to play. I don't even get it. John, come on in.
Yeah, JB, it's called the witching hour. Just make sure you get it right. Guy on the radio today, they were talking about the greatest sounds in sports, and the guy said 8 hours of commercial-free football, and I'm like, yeah, that's not right. 7 hours of commercial-free football, and it's the witching hour, so make sure we get that right.
Of course it is.
Red Zone is amazing.
But that's Scott Hanson's words. I don't want to use his words because he does it so eloquently. Right now, I'm still debating why Aaron Boone has a job. Because why do you pitch to Freddie Freeman? This isn't the first time. He did it in game 1 in extra innings. Then followed in game 2, game 3, and now the first inning of game 4. So why do you pitch to him? But there's no answers to that. Because, this guy has a job in professional sports. So, he's obviously good. The last thing the guy did that was good is he hit a home run in the playoffs.
It's because you have a job in professional sports doesn't mean that you're good, a la Anthony Richardson.
We'll get to him later, too. I forgot about that in my rant because I was so incensed by Freddie Freeman. Like, I don't even understand. And I like Freddie Freeman.
Ronnie James has a job, too, and he's not good. So,
I think we need to bring in Dave.
All right.
Dave?
Well, because nobody loves talking about baseball more than me. So,
Dave, you know what, Dave? Let me just ask you a question because you know enough about baseball. You're a sports guy, right? So if a guy has hit a home run 3 straight days against your team, and you need to win, are you pitching to him the 4th game?
No, but then
exactly.
But then what are your choices? Do you pitch around him, and then you get Betts, Ohtani,
Well, after him is usually
somebody. But which one of us picked Freeman to win the MVP? When we
wasn't me, but whoever did is 100% right. If anybody else wins MVP, this is crazy. It's got to be my man Freeman. He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
he has more RBIs.
You're a Yankee fan, and he's on the opposite team. How's that your man?
He has more RBIs in 2 games than the Yankees have runs in the series. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, but how is he your man? That's the team that's fighting
guys
in the World Series.
You can like guys on other teams, Sean. It's called mutual respect.
If you're in the Super Bowl, you have to hate everybody on the opposing team.
No, it's mutual respect, John.
You when you're on the field, like any of them. John, if you're a fan, you have to, and your team's in the championship or in any playoff game, you have to hate everybody.
First of
on
all,
your team.
If you're a fan, you shouldn't hate anybody. You should enjoy the fact that they're putting on a good show.
I hate Josh Allen.
If you're a player, you should, during the time of the game, have a hatred for the other team. Now, I want to hurt them, and we'll get to that later because there's something I want to talk about yesterday's game with the hurting thing. Yeah. But you can have a hatred, and I have no problem with it. But once the final whistle and the last out, that hatred should end. It should be all good. But when you're between the lines, you don't have to like the other team. There's nothing wrong with
hating. Between the whistles.
Exactly. But when a fan, I can appreciate good guys on all the teams. There's nothing wrong with that. Because eventually, if they're that good, they'll be on my team. My team spends the most money anyway. So I know if they want the guy, they'll get him. But let's get into quick hits because I could go on forever today. I got a lot to say. I'm angry. An angry JB is a good JB.
Angry and wrong. That's a good combination.
Never wrong. Let's start with quick hits.
Can you explain just you something out when you hurt, you injured, and tired?
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there that I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play. So I just, just told Sam I just needed a break right there.
All right. So right now, Denzel, I want you to put Dave on full screen, and I want Dave to explain If he was the lineman for that team and it was 3rd and goal where you could have taken the lead, how you would feel about that being your quarterback. So
well, remember, JB, I was driving all day Sunday, so I didn't, I didn't give me the preface of exactly what went down.
So basically, he did a little scramble on 2nd down.
Yeah.
And now he's saying he was too tired. He tapped out, and they had to take him out for a play. It was 3rd and goal when they took him out, and the Colts had a chance to take the lead. But he was too tired after his little scramble that he gained 1 yard on. He needed a break. So tell us how you'd feel if that was your guy, Dave.
Well, to me, it sounds like he's going to be exactly where he deserves to be, and that's on the bench. That's if I could run my fat butt downfield at 365 pounds and then play the next play, that's unbelievable to me, and that's not what you want in a leader. We talked about the quarterback position, and it's not all about the numbers. Geno Smith comes to mind. He's got great numbers. I just don't see him as being a leader on a team. I played golf with Andre Reed yesterday, Hall of Famer with the Bills, and we were talking about Jim Kelly not having a great talent, but you knew that guy was going to go to battle with you. That's who you want as your quarterback, not somebody that ran around and scrambled and said, hey, game's on the line. Take me out, coach, for a play. I'm a bit winded.
And not only any play, Dave, it was 3rd and goal. So if they didn't score, it would be a field goal. John, think about that. Before we became analysts, we were fans, right? And we're still fans, all of us. But, you pay money to see a team, and they're paying money to this guy. And in the most important play of the game, he says, hey, coach, I'm supposed to be the leader, but I got to rest. I'm tired. Could you imagine Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, who I despise? Could you imagine any of them doing that?
Well, it doesn't matter who you name because it's any player in the history of the game. I've been watching football for a very long time. Never seen this in my entire life. Also, Damian Woody, I thought, it was interesting. Damian Woody spoke on this on Get Up, and he said, imagine when you get to the 4th quarter and it's the last drive of the game, and Anthony Richardson would be like, hey, guys, I know you're dog tired. I know you're dead tired, but I'm going to need a little bit more out of you so we can go win this game. Like, if you're an offensive lineman and Anthony Richardson would say that to you in the huddle, if you're Dave, you're going to look at him and be like, what the hell do you mean you need a little more out of me? Like, you took a play off. And Damian Woody also said something, Dave, I thought that you might appreciate. He mentioned offensive linemen don't get plays off. No. He said, so why the hell should the quarterback get plays off? He said, we're out there fighting every single play, and we don't get to come off the field, so why should he get to come off the field? And that just spoke a lot to me because it's true. I mean, they're doing a hell of a lot more than any other position in the game, and they're not, hey, guys, I need out. I need out for a play. I'm tired. I just went against Nick Bosa for a whole game, or Aiden Hutchinson. I'm tired. I don't really feel like playing this play. Like, it's just, I can't feel that.
To top it off, John, it wasn't just any play. It wasn't like at the 40 and he had a 40-yard run. He scrambled for, I think, 1 or 2 yards, and it was 3rd and goal. So we're not talking, and in a close game, and it was either the 3rd or the 4th quarter. I forget at the time because, and it was a dogfight. Either team could have won the game, and that was an important drive. So, right away, you have a field goal set up, but you want to score a touchdown. That's the name of the game. And here you are in an important division game, 3rd quarter, 3rd and goal. Guys, I'm tired. I need a break. You know what? I don't want you on my team. I don't care what I'm paying you. I'm cutting you. I don't ever want to see your face again if I'm the GM. I want nothing to do with you unless you go into drug rehab that day and you say it was the drugs that made you do it. The only way I will forgive you, you are not on my team ever again.
Yeah, Dave? And you're right. The offensive line will go to battle for any cat that's going to battle for them. We see receivers tap out once in a while, but they just ran 3 60-yard sprints, whatever, and take a play off because they are winded, but they're not integral to the offense. They could throw another guy in, and you've got 3 other receivers to throw a ball to if a guy needs a break. I'm thinking on the other side of this, I'm thinking, if I'm on the sideline standing next to Chuck Knox and his quarterback run, hey, coach, I need a playoff. That kid would have been packed by the end of the game, packed and out, just done and berated. Oh man, it's the game today. These guys are getting soft, and it's just not football anymore.
Well, it also doesn't help, JB. You mentioned if his completion percentage was 70% and he had, 20 touchdowns on the year and 2 picks, they might forgive him, and he probably is a starter this week. But he has the lowest completion percentage in the last 20 years of any quarterback. 44% of any quarterback is the lowest completion percentage. So, he's statistically the worst quarterback in the last 20 years, and he was a 4th overall pick. We knew he was going to be a project, but when you're that bad and then you tap out and then you go admit to it, I mean, if you just didn't admit to it in the press conference, nobody would have known why you came out of the game. That would have been the smart thing to do.
And he's kind of chuckling while he's saying it.
Yeah, he thinks it's funny.
Yeah. So my answer to that is I wouldn't have forgiven him. I still don't like Garrett Cole, who
47% Marcus Russell.
Who puts up, Cy Young numbers. He won the Cy Young the year before. I still don't like him. So don't say everybody would forgive him. To me, that's inexcusable. I don't care who did it. If he was injured, it's one thing. He admits he wasn't injured. He was tired. So I cut him. He's a waste of space. He's no good for your team. He's a cancer. That's really all I can say. All right. Number 2, Jay. Is point guard Bronny James splitting time between the NBA G League and the Lakers main roster the right call? John?
I think he should be in the G League. He got his 3 seconds of fame. He got what he wanted, him and his dad. They got to do their photo op. They got all that stuff, the optics. They got it. Okay, now send him to the G League so he can develop, because it's not going to help him, in my opinion, being on an NBA roster and getting cooked when he's out there, because he's going to get cooked because, like Anthony Richardson, he's very much a project. It's not that he's not talented, but he's not NBA ready, and it's going to be a while before he's actually NBA ready. And I think you do more harm than good if you throw him into the NBA. Whereas a G League, he can take his time to develop, and he's very young. So I think just sit him in the G League, let him develop, and then if you see glimpses, in the offseason next year, then you consider it. But I think he's very much a project, a long shot to get into the NBA.
Dave, does he have any talent? I mean, I haven't yet to see him play, to be honest. And I know he has no stats in college.
Yeah, he's very raw. He has
he's
talent,
very raw,
but he's raw.
He definitely, he can play. He needs to bulk up a little bit, and he needs time on the court against better competition, and he's not going to get the time at the NBA level. So his best bet would have been to stay in college, which it's too late for that now, or to go to the G League where he'll get starters minutes and he can work on his game. And, it's unfortunate because it's not just any guy. It's LeBron James' son. And if LeBron James says, no, I don't want him to go to the G League, he's going to be on the Lakers roster, because we all know the GM of the Lakers is LeBron James. So it makes it that much more difficult, because I think part of the deal was nobody wanted him to go to the G League, meaning LeBron did it. They wanted him to be on the roster and continually be there and hopefully grow that way. But I don't think it's good for his development. Dave, knowing that, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm thinking more of the kid's psyche. I feel bad for these kids. These first round draft picks that get thrown in, and the high expectations and immediate ridicule, and there's no time to develop. So that whole development thing makes a lot of sense to me. I think he's in a lose-lose situation, just because of who dad is, and because he came out early, and because he's got a lot to overcome, even if he was good. I remember Lamar Ball, or whatever his name was, when they took him in the first round. I'm like, that kid's gonna be a bust, and he was. It just never came to fruition with the Lakers. I know he's still playing somewhere, but he was never up to the hype. And
none of his sons were.
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with him, but I just feel bad. I feel bad for him, because he's, like I said, he's in a really tough predicament.
But JB,
Yeah,
all those Suns were touted as like the next big thing in the NBA. All
oh
this,
yeah,
so like none of them have panned out. Like as far as statistically, successfully, none of them have panned out at all.
it's not easy to get to the level when you're, touted as supposedly the next big thing. It takes talent, perseverance, the psychological effect of being able to handle it. All those things have to go together. And definitely with Bronny, I mean, listen, I want him to succeed. It's no secret to anybody that's ever watched any of our shows. I am not a LeBron fan. I don't root against him. Personally, I think he's a great player. He's just not my cup of tea. And there's nothing wrong with that, But I want to see all these guys do well because it's entertaining when you have good guys playing basketball, And I think he put his son in a bad situation. He wants his son to succeed, but, at the same time, he's just put him where, okay, you're here. We got my coach that I wanted. We got my roster. And, you're going to be on the bench and get a million, be set. But, is he going to be a successful NBA player? He's never going to be his dad, and that's clear. But, you could still be a quality NBA player and, have a long career. There's plenty of guys that aren't superstars that play 10, 15 years, So if they get him to where he could be, he could have a nice little career.
Well, also, I mean, you said LeBron wants him to succeed. I mean, does he? Because if LeBron wants him to succeed, then he'll do the opposite of what you said, JB, because you said LeBron would want him to stay on the Lakers. If LeBron actually wants him to succeed, he'll let him go to the G League and develop like we were talking about. But if LeBron wants it to be the LeBron show and, hey, everybody look at Pop and Son, well, then LeBron's going to keep him up in the NBA because optics, and that's, to me, what LeBron seems to care about is his optics. But if he actually wants to do what's best for his son's career, then put him in the G League and let him develop and take his time, and that would be the best thing, in my opinion, for him. Well, but I don't think LeBron's going to allow that.
You see, wanting someone to succeed and knowing what the right thing to do and doing it, there's a whole bunch of different reasons why that doesn't always happen. LeBron may deep down know that his son needs to go to the G League, but he may think that his son can just stay there and still get where he needs to be. I doubt he wants his son to not be the best he can be. I just think that
no, but LeBron can't help himself when it comes to LeBron being the focal point, LeBron getting his way, LeBron having the optics. Like, it's always got to be about LeBron James in everything. It's like Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen always has to be Superman. If he can just pull back, he'll be a lot better. If LeBron can pull back, then Bronny would be better off. But can LeBron do that? I'm not so sure.
Well, anything to add before we go to number 3? All right, let's go to number 3.
Ooh.
What is your favorite Halloween memory? Let's start with you, Dave. You seem like a guy who could have played Michael Myers.
Yeah. So I hate Halloween. And I'll tell you what.
I like even more.
Hey, hang on there, Sparky. I was traumatized. So when I was 13, I was bigger than most adults, okay? And me and my buddies, we dressed up as Kiss. And I'll tell you what, I mean, we made our own costumes. I was Peter Criss, man. I had the, feathered hair, I had long hair. We did all the makeup. We had it done by a mom down the street who did makeup. We looked awesome. I'll send you guys pictures because it was awesome. Almost every door I went to, it's like, because I had makeup on. It was like, aren't you a little old for this? And I'm like, no, I'm the same age. Actually, that guy right there is older than me. It's like I felt like bad. Like just give me some candy and let me go.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I dressed up. As a matter of fact, I'm invited to a thing tomorrow night for one of the groups I belong to, and they said, "Oh, it's a mandatory dress up." And I'm like, scratch. Anne Marie wants to do it, so we're probably going to do it. But let me just tell you, Halloween for me just wasn't cool. It was great up until that time.
Okay, that's fair, John.
I don't understand doing that to kids. Like if they're a kid, if someone wants candy, like you have the bowl there. What does it really matter? Like, you know what I mean?
But it wasn't like one though, John. It wasn't like one. It was like parents like judging me.
Yeah, like why do that?
Yeah.
For me, obviously, because I'm a dad, getting to go every year with my kids is just, I mean, that's my favorite memory. Getting to take them and see the smile on their faces. And also, like, now that I'm older and again, I'm a dad, and I get to, whenever we're done and there's still kids out trick or treating, we sit on our porch and, hand out candy. And I just love seeing the smiles on the kids' faces. And then being kids, they don't have technology in their hands, no phones, no nothing. They're just out enjoying themselves, getting a little bit of candy, dressing up, getting in the spirit. For me, that's my memory. It's just getting to see other people happy. That's my favorite part.
Hey, JB, before you go,
Yeah.
because John said the word dad, and it did remind me of a positive Halloween memory, and that was every year sitting down with my daughter, and we would do custom pumpkins.
That's
I
cool.
I love art, and I every year would come up with different designs. Actually, one year I did kiss all the different faces.
Nice.
And I've done Garfield. I did what was that one that dad cartoon with the football head kid in the
Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did all the characters from
Nice. I love Hey
yeah.
Arnold.
So it was so that was a really nice memory, and sitting down with her every Halloween and doing that. So there was some positive stuff.
There you go. That's cool. So you're asking me, I'm not a fan of Halloween. I'm going to try and think of a positive Halloween memory.
You can't think
Yeah,
of one. You can't think of one.
I never liked Halloween. I was never a fan.
So if you were 5, if you were a little stumbly bumbly JB, 5 years old going to get candy, you had to have been happy or something.
Yeah, but
Like,
not
I
New
mean,
York. It's freezing. It's probably snow everywhere.
yeah,
When I was in
so
I
Southern
can tell you.
California, I was running
I
around with
can tell you.
my pillowcase and running all over the place and just getting tons of candy before I got.
I can tell you what I hate about Halloween
oh my
nowadays.
gosh.
That kids have to have a time when they're allowed to trick or treat. Why? I mean, it's Halloween from normal times, 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. Let them trick or treat. Now they have like little windows
Well, it's probably
when they're
because of
allowed to go.
safety reasons. You don't want kids walking around all day. You know what I mean? And
John,
drivers aren't always safe. Even
that's
during the
horrible,
even
horrible,
during the 6 to
horrible,
8, drivers aren't necessarily safe. So
horrible,
that's
horrible
probably
take,
why, because there are some bad drivers out there, and you want to make sure
horrible
the
take.
kids and everybody are safe.
Kids
You
aren't supposed to
know,
run around the streets, John.
yeah.
Yeah, but like
Listen,
in my neighborhood, there's not always drivers that are safe anyway, even though
Hmm.
it's like, hey, you see a million people walking around. Still people speed through. It's like, come on, man. Like, you don't need to be doing
listen.
that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. So my favorite holiday's coming up next month. I'm a Thanksgiving guy. It's a very simple holiday. It's a holiday
Before
you
we
give
continue,
thanks
all
to.
right, favorite Halloween candy. Because we're talking about Halloween. Do you have a favorite Halloween like go-to candy that you look forward to, like a Snickers or Twix or something?
I'm a Kit Kat guy.
Kit Kat. I respect it.
Dave?
Yeah, I like the Twix, Kit Kat, and the Reese's.
Nice. John?
But no candied corn.
You're going to be a pirate,
Uh-oh.
Dave, according
Dave's
to
a
Anne Marie.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh,
Now we're
kids watching.
talking.
Yeah.
We'll have pictures for next week. Emery,
Yeah.
we need pictures so we can put them on the show.
All right, the best candy bar is Fast Breaks. If you've never had a Reese's Fast Break, they're the best.
I'm not a fan.
And then they don't hand it out anymore, but I love candy corn. I'm a big candy corn fan. So it's an elite candy
corn's
that
good.
really gets
For elite
run
candy,
over. It's an elite candy. It's top
it's not,
Candy corn is
not
good.
elite. It's a leftover candy because nobody likes it. You can actually buy a bag of candied corn and it'll be there like forever, perpetuity.
Nobody hands out that great stuff anymore. It's top
Best
5.
candy corn story. Best candy corn story. Go to Walmart on November 2nd. Get it for like 60% off, 70% off. And you got candy corn for a long time. And it's good every once in a while. You can't have too much candy corn. It's way
Not
too
too
sweet.
much, but I mean, they should hand it out more. They don't hand it out anymore.
You know what they should?
Have you guys ever seen it? That if you actually you actually stack the candied corn and stack it up, and it actually looks like an ear of corn.
Yes, I did see that. I think on Facebook.
I was today years old when I found that out.
There you go.
It's pretty
There
cool.
you go.
All
and,
right,
and you know why? And you know why you can know that? Because there's always plenty left over because nobody's eating it. People are looking for things to do with this leftover candy corn. Hey, you want the candy? No, I don't want it. Do you want it? No, I don't. Hey, let's stack it in a circle and see what it looks like.
We can all throw it at John. I mean,
you know what they need to get rid of? Those like now and later hard candies, the squares.
Those things
those
are
hurt
horrible.
your teeth.
Save some for later. Are you kidding me?
I mean, they hurt your teeth. I just don't.
Oh, they're so good.
They are like the Anthony Richardson of candy.
They're horrible. Let's move on. We've spent way too much time on this Halloween.
It's candy. It's Halloween.
Made up holiday. Thanksgiving, a real holiday. All right, let's talk about some of the crazy stuff that happened on Sunday and Monday. So, as John pointed out, the witching hour, which I like to say between 3 and 4 because my name isn't Hanson, Scott Hanson. I don't get paid to do NFL Red Zone. But, between 3 and 4, to me, it had to be the craziest witching hour I've ever seen because I think every game was within one score. I had a couple of bets in and, I'm watching and I'm like, at one point I'm winning, at one point I'm losing, I'm winning, I'm losing. It's going back and forth. There's a pitch to Mixon that's fumbled. The Ravens come down and score, then they give up a touchdown. The Dolphins blow the game late after they had it in hand.
Good job, Dolphins. Proud of you.
It was like every game. So, like, what did you? I know, Dave, you were driving, but did you, know of any of what was going on while you were driving, or was this earlier?
No, but I did see Daniels. I mean, I've said it. I don't know 3 or 4 times. We've talked about the rookies and various whatever players, and man, I love that kid. I love his attitude on the field, and then to watch that. I mean, and he had that thing 70 yards or something in the air, right? I mean, it was amazing. It just dropped it right on the goal line and gave his team a chance to win, and they ended up winning it. I think that is fantastic.
John?
Well, first of all, I mean, Anne Marie commented that bit of honey's gross, and whoever hands out bit of honey still. I mean, I hope you step on a Lego barefoot in the middle of the night, whoever hands that out, because that stuff is disgusting.
I'll go and get bit of honey tonight, so I can.
I really wish that upon you if you.
Once the show's over, that's it. Bit of honey's for everybody.
But Stevenson, the defensive back, is the biggest clown. Dave, I'm not sure if you saw the video. The defensive back for the Bears, before the play started, was standing in the end zone and taunting fans, and he didn't even know the play was happening. He turns around, runs over, bats in the air, and then the guy catches it. Like, I can only imagine, Dave, if you were a player, you have to watch the video with everybody in the meetings, and he's sitting in there. I can only imagine how much he's getting clowned by the coaches and players for doing what he did. I wouldn't want to be Stevenson in that film room. Like, there's no way in hell I would want to be him because I would be bright red, but
listen,
Daniels,
I'm going to give you,
busted ribs, man, and he brings them back. Got to give him credit for
John,
that.
I'm going to give you my take on Stevenson. He's running back towards the end zone. In his mind, the game is over. His team won. I'm nowhere upset that he's excited. This is a Bears team that isn't expected to even be in this game against Washington. The defense played a hell of a game. Should he have done it? No. I definitely
did the clock say 0-0-0? No, it did not.
John, he definitely should have kept his mouth shut and gotten the back to play. Yep. But am I upset that he's pumped up and running towards the end zone, jumping up and down? I'm not upset. He's hyped. His team's had a good game. Did he look like a fool? Most certainly. But that play should have been blow dead with 4 holding penalties. The defensive tackle on the right side and the left side, they were ridiculously held.
Yep.
If I'm seeing it on TV, see, this is my problem with NFL referees. If I'm watching it on TV and I'm seeing it, and they're showing the whole field when they're showing the game, they're not singling out one guy. When you're a referee on the field, you have certain things you're looking at. You're not looking at the whole field. You're looking at 3 or 4 guys in certain zones. I'm looking at the whole screen, and I'm seeing holding on the right side, holding on the left side. There's a problem, and I'm not taking anything away from Jaden Daniels and the Washington Redskins because they got the call, they executed it, they won. Good for them. But at the same time, the referee's got to make calls. I mean, that's a game-changing play. And I put on Twitter and Facebook on Sunday. Imagine if you're a bettor, you have the Bears plus 1.5. At that point, you're winning your bet. The NFL is all about gambling now because they want to get as much money as they can, and there's no call there. The guy tips the ball. Stevenson tips it to the Washington receiver. Washington now goes from losing the bet to winning the bet. So now you have millions of dollars changing hands because of a non-call. It's just a bad look. If I could see it on TV and I'm watching the whole screen, I don't have any particular area I need to watch. The referee who has to watch certain points has to get that.
So
we have Raphael here. Raphael's here. I want to ask him about that. Go ahead.
All right, hold on. Before you ask Raphael, I just have to ask you this because you're going on and on about the referees, and I understand the holding. But if you're the Bears, and I just watched the play just to make sure I was right about it, and I am, they only rushed 3 and they had a spy. Why the hell do you need a spy?
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Hail Mary play, and why are you only rushing 3? Because rushing 3, what happens is you give the guys time to get down there into the end zone, and you give the quarterbacks just got to buy time. But if you rush 5 or 6, guess what? It doesn't give him time to step into the throw. It doesn't give the guys time to get down there, and it's easier to force him to not be able to get that play off if you rush 5 or 6 instead of having a spy. Why do you have a spy?
You're 100% right. There's no logical reason. Do we think that Jaden Daniels is going to bust a 40-yard run for a game-winning touchdown with 11 guys behind him on defense? That's horrible coaching.
A defensive guy. So why is Eberflus doing that?
Yeah, I mean that's just it's horrible coaching. That's like handing it to a lineman, that you've never run the play before at the goal line. Everyone loves to see it, but are you running these plays now? Why?
Hey, easy on the lineman scenario.
Oh, I'm not blaming the lineman. Listen, we love the lineman.
Analogies, JV. Let's let the chubby guys go.
Dave will see you in New Orleans. Dave will see you in New Orleans.
Yeah, come on.
All right, let's bring Roth in. I know he's here, and I know the man's busy, and he made time to be here, so I want to get his opinion. So, okay, going to the Hail Mary, because there's a couple of things with betting this week that caught my eye that I've seen on social media. So my thing with the holding, that they don't call that, and it was obvious holds, and then the outcome changes because of it. The NFL's got to do a better job cleaning it up, right or wrong?
Wrong. 100%
wrong.
100%, because you don't win or lose games, bets, reality on one play of the game. You lost the luck of the draw in that game. 50-50, you lost. Plain and simple, just like betting. 50-50, you lost. One play of the game does not occur. How about rushing more than 3 guys? How about not giving up all those first downs before the Hail Mary? How about all that? One play does not make any outcome of the game. Not one play. And I know people say millions of dollars in hands were on that. That's everything in life. And everything in life. $1 million in hands pass on this one. Look at it this way. McDonald's probably lost $1 million every 10 seconds because they were blamed for quarter pounders being the tainted meat. Now they're not tainted. Now it wasn't the quarter pounder. Well, there it goes, right there. So 50-50 chance. No, they did not blame it. How about blaming the blame calling of the game, not the one play of the game?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there's been so many games. We've seen penalties not called or called at the very end. The Chiefs and the Falcons, obvious pass interference. But you know what? You can go through that game film and you're going to find 15 other penalties that weren't called. Just so happens to be the last play of the game. And I'm going to tell you guys, offensive linemen hold.
Oh, Dave, I don't
every game, every play, offensive lineman or defensive lineman are holding. Every play.
My thing is, if it's easy enough for me to pick it up on TV, you got to call it because I don't have. Yes,
a game would be 5 hours long if they call.
Davey, watch every play.
I can't see it. I can't see every hold on a TV broadcast. It's not possible.
Look,
trust me. Trust me. I watch it. I watch whatever games are on. I can't see every hold. You see it because you're familiar with all the techniques, Dave. There's difference. I'm talking about, a guy who hasn't played in the league and doesn't have all the techniques down. I can't pick out every hold. I can pick out some. And, that was a phenomenal job of holding. I was going to about say blocking, but they did a great job of holding. Baroff, I got one other question for you, then we'll move on to the rest of the games. So on Twitter, and this killed me because I know your reaction already, but, all these people were going crazy about Jordan Mason getting hurt in the San Francisco game on Sunday night. Some people like myself like to bet props. Now, I had Jordan Mason in my prop bet. I used that P word that you can't stand, and I only lost because Jordan Mason didn't perform. He got hurt. So I accept that. It's my fault. I bet the guy. I could have easily not bet him, and I would have been fine. Now, there's people on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that want FanDuel, BetMGM, DraftKings to void these bets because they're saying that Mason got hurt last week. He wasn't on the injury report, and then got hurt again, so they didn't give them proper warning, and they allowed him to bet on him. Roth, as the most experienced one of the group and the guy who makes all these different prop odds, tell me how ridiculous that is.
It is 100% ridiculous, but this is the life. This is the lifestyle we live in, where these kids who are gambling now were never said no. Their parents never said no to them. The teachers never said no to them. Their job has probably said no to them. And now when someone tells them no, or they don't have full contact of all the information because they didn't want to read the research, they're complaining. I want a refund. I want this. I'm entitled. The biggest word is they always feel like they're entitled for something. Too bad, too sad. Read the rules. Ha, ha, ha. You're not getting a refund.
I mean, I was more upset that Jordan Love got hurt because I had 11 prop parlay that I lost. I needed, I think, 40 more yards. I don't listen. I don't gamble enough to make it a difference. It was a $5 parlay, but oh my God, I hit everything and easy. And Jordan Love was on pace to go way over 225, and he got hurt. And I'm like, oh, that's horrible. And nothing you can do. It's done. I'm not going to start requesting a refund. I lost. I could have picked under. I could have picked somebody else. A loss is a loss is a loss. The people that complain about that, don't gamble if you don't understand the rules. Rob's 100% right. Anyone else saw anything that was interesting on Sunday? We got Anthony Richardson.
If you're talking about Mason, you already knew he was nursing that shoulder thing. You already knew that. If you bet him and you didn't pay attention that he still has it, that injury doesn't just magically go away. When you get that type of injury to your shoulder, it doesn't just go away in a week. Like, that's something he's going to be dealing with for a little while. It's not going to go away. That's a tough injury to get rid of. So anybody that was dumb enough to be like, yeah, it wasn't on the injury report, like, just use your brain. Like, that type of injury isn't something that's just going to go away. So, I mean, if you're that dumb to where you just think it's not there because it's not on the injury report, all these guys are banged up. Every NFL player is banged up, has something that they might not be talking about. It's the NFL. They're 8 weeks in. They're all banged up. And it happens. It's the luck of the draw. He gets hurt. It is what it is.
It's really simple, too.
They're not hockey players. I mean, hockey players are a little tougher than some of the football players.
Hockey players are crazy.
And it's really simple, when you bet an NFL prop on a player, he can get hurt on any play. If he gets hurt and he played a play, you lost. It sucks. I've had it happen multiple times, but that's life.
I also think the game flow helped, and the bye week, JB, helped determine whether he was going to come back or not. I think he could have if this was post bye week and CMC wasn't ready, but because the bye week was the next week and because the game flow, they were already dominating the Cowboys when he got hurt. They were starting to get in control of the game, started scoring touchdowns. They started getting up by more. And then at halftime, they had a bigger lead. And it was like, okay, well, the Niners are starting to look like they're dominating. They have a bye week. Typically, when you have a bye week coming up and a guy gets banged up like that, they'll play the cautious role. That's typically what teams do.
It happened with Aaron Jones when they were, I believe, in London.
That's
where
what
he
teams
got
do.
when he got hurt. And I don't blame him. I mean, you're playing for the whole season. They're not playing for my bet. And that's why whenever you bet player props, you have to accept that if the guy gets hurt, there's nothing you can do. You can't sit there and cry for a refund. You knew the risks when you put the bet in.
Yep.
Oh,
Get over
but
it. I have a question, Kat.
I'm sorry to cut you off, JB. But correct
Sorry.
me if I'm wrong, but I look at the commercials and I see these gambling sites saying, well, if you pick a player to score first, but he doesn't, we'll give you your money back.
That's different. Those are promotions.
Well, but they're setting the premise of like, oh, if I'm wrong, all I got to do is kick my feet and cry, and maybe they'll give me my money back on that too. You know, I
You
get
gotta
a promotion,
you got
but
to read the little fine
they're
print.
setting the precedent of, hey, maybe sometimes they'll give us our money back if
They got to man up. They got to man up, Dave. You made a bad choice. Could have bet the under because obviously he was under. You know, I lost and I accept it. I get it. You know, I would have loved to have
Yeah,
not
but that
put
would
him
have
on
been
my
a bad
ticket.
bet. Mason was, he's a beast, and Love was on track. I mean, you had the right bets.
Yeah, it's
So,
luck of the draw.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, if you would have bet the under, I think that was a bad bet. You made the
Oh, I
right
agree.
bet.
Just luck of the draw. But I do have a question for you regarding injury. So in the Saints game, and this is for you specifically, Dave. So there was, I want to say it was the third quarter. I don't remember for sure. I'm sure John does because John's really good with this stuff. So Herbert got hit. I don't know if I think he threw the ball away already.
Yeah.
And the Saints defensive lineman, I thought he was in the WWE trying to put him in a figure four leg lock, the way he was grabbing on his leg.
A gator.
And then I give all the credit in the world for the Chargers offensive lineman who came out of nowhere and protected his guy. So my question for you, Dave, when you see something like that and you're on the offensive line, you know, obviously you have to do that, right? I mean, you got to protect your guy.
And I will tell you, that's the one time where a head coach is going to say, give him the 15 yards. You know what? We cannot have a team thinking they can hurt our guy. And that's a time when an offensive lineman would get a pass. You know, we don't want to give up 15 yards for unnecessary roughness, but the coach will say, good on you, because that's what our job is. That's our sole job, is to protect the other players. And I've had that come up, and I'll be the first one up there to take somebody off and peel them off a pile or peel them off one of our guys. So no, I have no issues with that.
So has anybody ever touched your quarterback and you threw him off?
Oh yeah.
That's you've been in that situation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like cleaned him. No, you know, that's and with great pride, you know, I did it without even a second thought.
Yep.
You know, but there's a fine line too of, you know, nitpicking little stuff, and then you jump in and you cause a 15-yard penalty when two guys are just like chicken fighting or just pushing each other, and then you see this lineman come in and hit somebody. Well, that's just stupid. But man, if they're doing something that's going to jeopardize one of your guys, especially your quarterback, running back, your special team, your specialists, that's absolutely green light, go.
I mean,
that's Bush League too.
I don't know if you actually saw it, Dave. I mean, it was obvious there was an intent to hurt Herbert, and there was no play that was being made. You know, and listen, I get football. You got to play tough. You got to hit people. I'm not opposed to hard hits. I don't like when guys lead with their head because that just leads to problems later on in life. But Herbert's on the ground and you're playing with his legs. Like, what do you have, like a foot fetish or something? Like, what is going on? And you know, whoever the lineman was, I have nothing but respect for. Job.
That's the same guy that did it to Saquon Barkley earlier in the year when the Eagles played the Saints. Same exact player did it to Barkley. So this isn't the first time he's done that. It's Bush League.
Something needs to be done because listen, it's one thing to make a hard tackle, hit a guy. You know, even the defenseless receiver every once in a while where you see or roughing the passer, where you know that there's no intention to hurt the guy. You're just trying to make a football play. I'm perfectly fine with that. But when you're specifically trying to hurt somebody, you don't belong in the NFL. This isn't for you. You could go into boxing, MMA, you know, WWE, where, you know, that's the name of the game. But football isn't about hurting the guy. It's scoring more points and stopping the team. You know, hurting, that's never part of the goal.
There's some pretty famous players, JB, back in the day that's the way they did play. Dick Butkus comes to mind immediately. He was like an alligator. When he tackled you, he'd get you in his claws and then he'd start twisting. And he actually was quite frank, saying, "Yeah, I'm trying to hurt him."
Thankfully, they've cleaned that up. Thankfully, for the
Yeah.
most part,
So, but there's some guys that we grew up watching, man, and that's how they play the game. I think Lambert,
but that was a
Ray
different
Nitschke,
game back then.
Conrad Dobler.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go on and on if I think about it a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, you do bring up some people that did try and hurt. I'm not going to disagree, but probably the busiest guy out of the four of us yesterday had to be Roth, because yesterday was the sports equinox. It was the 31st time in history where all the leagues played on the last day, or the same day. What were you watching yesterday when everything was playing? Let's start with you, Roth.
I was actually trading most of the day for a couple companies for the election. So I probably handled more money than all four sports that was going on yesterday. That includes the Monday Night Football game. That includes because everyone was parlaying Steelers and whatever red or blue an election. A lot of money coming in on St. Louis where they legalized sports gambling, or Missouri where they legalized sports gambling, or not. A lot of different laws in different states. So I wasn't actually, I mean, I had them on, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't really focusing. I can't focus pretty much not that much until after probably next Thursday.
So what did you have on coming
in? Still red money.
What did you have on, though, in the background?
Steelers in a World Series game. Then I had some hockey on. I mean, towards the end of the night, I was watching the Golden Knights play while the Steelers game was getting ready to end. So, I mean, I had a mixture of everything. Had some. You want to talk about how bad New York did yesterday? Not only did the Giants lose the Yankees, but the Knicks lost at home as a favorite.
It was horrible.
So,
listen, it was a bad night. I mean, and this is coming from a guy who had the Steelers, but I had a parlay again with touchdowns, and the two guys I had scored 3 touchdowns. They just didn't count. So you could figure out who I had now.
Could have, should have, would have. How's that wallet feeling right now?
About the same as it did the day before. That's play money, Raphael.
There's no such thing. See, that's the problem right there. What you just said. There's no such thing as play money. I don't care if you have $1 million in your checking account or you have $1 in your checking account. There's no such thing as play money, because if you win big out of that play money, you're probably going to buy something nice for either yourself or the missus, or pay a bill or something. So now that play money is important money. There's no such thing as play money.
Speaking of winning big, real quick, did you see the tickets that were cashed on Sunday for National Tight Ends Day, Roth? The parlays? Yes. Was that not ridiculous?
It happens every year. It didn't shock me at all. Just like anytime, like for instance, anytime there's a New York team and different sports playing on it, we get flooded of money with a New York parlay. That didn't shock me at all. I think it's the last 3 years at National Tight Ends Day, everyone just goes nuts. But the bettors lost on Sunday anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Did they really? Even with all those tight end bets? I mean, I was seeing tickets for like $70,000, $80,000. I saw at least 4 of them. I'm sure there were many more.
But you have to be some of those tickets are duplicated because no sports book is going to give a parlay that amount of money for a national tight end day. Most of these parlay or prop bets that you talk about, maybe $1,000 to $2,000 max. Maybe.
Oh no! I'm talking about people betting $25, $50, winning thousands and thousands of dollars.
But that's nothing. I mean, you figure a game itself probably has at least 4 to 5. Either high 5 figures or six-figure bets on it. So those single bets are going to take care of those parlay bets.
Wow. Funniest bet I saw on Sunday was a guy who had the Bears. It was on Caesar Sportsbook, 22,000. But instead of taking the +1.5, he had a -2.5. Don't ask me why he would have done that, but he bet 22,000 on the Bears -2.5.
And he probably paid a whole bunch of extra juice, and now he's spending all that money he had to pay for that number. What's he doing now?
Yeah, it was just a bad bet.
Probably crying. But so,
John, what were you watching yesterday during the sports equinox?
Of course, Monday Night Football. Yeah,
I could have told you that. John only watches football.
Yeah, that's the only streaming service I have.
Unless the Orioles or the Heat are playing, yes. That's it.
I can't watch the Orioles because it's blacked out in my area. I have the blackout restrictions, so I can't watch it because of blackout restrictions.
What about you, Dave? What were you watching?
Well, I was driving.
Dave, you do a lot of driving. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later.
Hello,
He's always
California.
Well, no, it's
Right.
actually it was my daughter's 30th birthday and my granddaughter's first birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, guys.
Yeah. It was
That's
a good
awesome.
day. It was a good day. Good weekend.
Great day. I'm glad to hear that. That's nice. So I actually had the Giant game on because I started with the Yankee game, and it didn't start out too good. So I got frustrated because they're show no heart. Although tonight they actually are doing a little something. Volpe hit his first home run of the postseason. The Yanks are up 5-2 at the current moment. So I'm in shock. Let's see how they can blow this one. But the Giants were actually playing good football up until we allowed Daniel Jones to try and win a game. And then Daniel Jones came out. It was like Halloween.
I'm calling a timeout. He is
Yeah, I don't want to
not
hear this.
he is not the problem. That offensive line is the problem.
I agree.
Daniel Jones. Well, then you're just complaining that
but he's not
Daniel
good.
Jones trying to win the game. No, why don't you
He's
say
not
you let
good.
the offensive line try to win the game, not Daniel Jones?
Well, Andrew Thomas is out for a season, so let's start
He's still
there
not good,
because
though.
Andrew Thomas is one of the best offensive linemen in football, and he's out for a season. So without your star left tackle, it makes a world of difference. I mean, the offensive line wasn't great before he got hurt, but without one of the best linemen,
Are we
in football,
saying that?
it's almost
Are we saying
impossible.
Daniel Jones is good though?
I'm not saying
he
that.
went
I'm just
over at
saying,
every prop bet he had yesterday: passing yards, TD yards, passing attempts, completions.
Yeah, but when it matters, he doesn't do it.
But it's not his fault that you got rid of a running back that you should have kept, and you have an offensive line that's worse than Swiss cheese. I don't like sticking up for quarterbacks just because they always get to wear the pink vest on practice and you can't touch them. But I'm sorry, he is not the problem. It's the offensive line and the play calling.
They don't have many playmakers either outside of Neighbors. There really isn't
John,
anything there.
Tracy's been really good. I mean, this kid from Purdue.
If you're a defensive coordinator, who are you game planning around? Who keeps you up at night? It's just Neighbors. There's nobody else on that offense that you're like, yep, got to worry about
He's
him.
got to make it. He's got to make a name for himself.
About
John
is Malik Neighbors. That's it.
John,
that's all. If you're a defensive coordinator.
John, he's a rookie that has to make a name for himself. He didn't come in like Neighbors did.
He has a name for himself, JB. Malik Neighbors already is keeping.
I'm talking about Tracy, John.
Nobody
who's
cares
also
about
a rookie.
Tracy.
Okay, good. Let nobody care about him. Keep getting 100 yards a game.
Yeah,
you know what?
He's not doing anything.
That's not doing anything.
But
that actually gives Daniel Jones the.
You're speaking
for
Daniel Jones as a New York Giants fan. You're not speaking of Daniel Jones as a football player and what you see on TV. What you're watching the Giants, you're thinking, "Ooh, my Homer team is on. Let me put my Giants headgear on and watch this game." Ooh, he stinks. It's Daniel Jones' fault. Not watching it as a football analysis, thinking, "Wow, he's running for his life." Every time they say hike, he is running for his life, and he doesn't have quick feet, so it's not like he's a real true mobile quarterback. So it's not all his fault. Yes, I'm not saying he's the next Manning to be or Peyton Manning or he's going to win all these Super Bowls, but it's not all his fault. You just said you let him try to win the game. No, you let the team try to win the game, not just him.
Yeah, listen, I wish him well. I obviously want to see him do well. I don't think he's the answer. I've said that for a long time. But we're stuck with him, so we'll continue to lose games.
You guys are going to be trying to tanking for Manning. That's what New York fans want.
I think they're getting Cam Ward. That's my
But you know what? Speaking of losing, we got to move on. We got a couple of minutes left. Speaking of losing, let's go to my other team. Since we're talking about my teams the last couple of minutes, the New York Yankees versus Freddie Freeman. So the Dodgers came to the Bronx in Game 3. They won 4-2. Freeman hit another home run. And another one tonight. So he's got 4 home runs in 4 days. Right this second, it's 5-2 Yankees because Volpe hit a grand slam. But I don't think it makes a difference being down 3-0. The Yankees' bats have just not been there when it mattered. Anyone have any thoughts on this? Start with you, Ruff.
I mean, I was hoping this game would be over with just because I'm tired of the World Series. I mean, it's pretty bad when Japan has better ratings for than the games 2 and 3. So they're watching it more in Japan than they are in the States because they just realized people think that the Yankee bats have just been gone quiet. So why watch it? After Game 1, World Series ratings were phenomenal. But after they saw what the Yankees did in Game 1 and started to do in Game 2 where they just couldn't hit the ball, what's the point of watching? So, yes, they're going to win this game probably, but I just don't see them winning the series. I mean, their pitching is blown up. I mean, the Dodgers had a undecided and bullpen session today, so now their arms are all ready to go for games 5, 6, and then 7, was both 6 and 7 at home.
John?
Yeah, I mean, this series is going to be over probably in 5, I would imagine. It'll be a gentleman's sweep. I don't really think there's much left to this series. I mean, no team's ever come back from 3-0 down, so there's really not much left. And we know who the World Series MVP is going to be. It's just it's a foregone conclusion at this point.
Dave?
Yeah, we when it became apparent it was going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees, everyone was, oh, here's the matchup. Here's the matchup. And what happens in sports so much is, man, the matchup never lives up to the hype. And it's just going to be one of those things. It's kind of fun, though, I think, for like a Freeman, who everyone's talking about Ohtani, everyone's talking about Judge, everyone's talking about Soto, everyone's talking about, and then you're the cat that's just coming in and winning the series for your team. And not just, a fluky hit. Like you said, it's every freaking game he's putting one out of the park. So I mean that's kind of neat for a guy like Freeman, who's a quality guy, quality player, but really making a name for himself that's really going to live in kind of baseball history. It's pretty amazing what he's been able to do.
The Yankees could lose Soto because of this, because you figure
Yes.
Boone might be gone now. If you're Soto, your pitching staff, you only have one really guy. And you want to go and you want to come back for this? The money's there, but the Giants can pay you. The Dodgers can pay you. I think if they lose by a gentleman's sweep and Boone's gone, man, you might have lost Soto because Aaron Judge looks like Jabu from a major league that can't hit a curveball.
So, I mean, looking at this series, game 1 was lost due to defense. There were 2 defensive lapses that turned doubles into triples, which gave up runs. And then I don't get why you walked Betts in that situation, but that one I could kind of, I could go either way with. I wouldn't have done it. I'd have pitched to him. Boone decided to walk him. That brought up Freeman, who made Freeman the hero. And good for Freeman. Listen, I have a lot of respect for the man. Game 2 and game 3, the bats were ice cold. Game 1, they were cold too. Tonight, they had one good inning, but they had opportunities in other innings, and they've only scored in one inning. So my opinion is Boone's not a very good manager. I felt that way for years. Judge, I don't know what his problem in the postseason is. He's just got to relax and play his game. He can play, obviously. I do agree with Roth. We could definitely lose Soto. We can lose Soto even if we won the World Series, so I don't think that really matters. I wish him all the luck in the world.
It's hard to lose a guy when you're trying to go for back-to-back.
Yeah, it is, but if money is money and the Yankees don't pay like they used to when George was around, I give the Dodgers all the credit in the world. They've played phenomenal baseball. They are the best team at the moment. The Yankees are a good team. You go back all year, I said the Yankees weren't going to make the World Series. They had the easy path to get there, and the Dodgers are bringing it back to reality. But, hopefully we could get everything to where they should be, and they can get the pieces they need in the offseason, but you never know. You win tonight, play tomorrow. You just got to play one game at a time. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Right, Dave?
Stranger things have happened.
See, I'm right. I'm always right, John.
Yeah. JB is right.
John's sitting there thinking, JB's right. Damn. No, I don't like it.
Hey, John
you don't want to know what I'm thinking.
On candied corn. Yeah, no.
Roth, did you hear the candy corn thing? John wants more candy corn.
It's an elite candy.
The world's worst.
Yeah.
It's up there with black licorice.
Oh, let's not say things you can't take back.
Not fun.
Oh, and Peeps. And Peeps.
Oh, Peeps are an elite candy too.
Oh, Peeps suck. All right, so we don't give John all the candy we want to throw out, but that's really all the time we have for tonight. We'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Remember, WDJY 99.1 in Atlanta, Believe, Alumni Radio, DBTV, Facebook, YouTube, SidelineSportsNet.com. Go to the website, see all our information there. Dave?
Hey, everybody. Have a safe Halloween. And if a big kid comes to your door, just be nice to him. Be good people. We'll see you next week.